Section 2.4 Deductive Reasoning. Deductive reasoning uses facts, rules, definitions, or properties to reach logical conclusions. This differs from inductive reasoning, in which previous knowledge and patterns are used to form a conjecture. There are three specific rules or laws that we are going to use to reach logical conclusions. They are the law of detachment, the law of syllogism, and the law of the contrapositive. The first rule that we will use in our study of deductive reasoning is the law of detachment. The law of detachment states that 1. If P, then Q. 2. P is repeated. 3. Therefore, Q is repeated. Example, use the law of detachment to make a valid conclusion from the information given. 1. If it's Friday night, I will go to the football game. If it's Friday night, it's P. Q. I will go to the football game. If it's Friday night, then I will go to the football game. 2. P. So P is repeated. We know that Q is repeated. I will go to the football game. Law of syllogism. The second rule that we can use to reach a logical conclusion is the law of syllogism. The law of syllogism states 1. If P, then Q. 2. If Q, then R. 3. Therefore, P, R. Use the law of syllogism to write a valid conclusion that can be reached from each set of statements. Number 1. If it's Friday, I will go to the football game. If it's Friday as P, I will go to the football game as Q. 2. If I go to the football game, I will sleep in tomorrow. We repeat Q down here, so that's Q. I will sleep in tomorrow is a new statement, so that's going to be R. And whenever these two match, the end of the first one and the beginning of the second one match, we can cross those out, and then we're going to choose P, R. If it's Friday, I will sleep in tomorrow. And that's the law of syllogism. The law of the contrapositive. The law of the contrapositive states 1. If P, then Q. 2. Not Q is repeated. 3. Therefore, not P is repeated. Let's look at an example. Use the law of contrapositive to make a valid conclusion from the information given. If it's Friday night, I will go to the football game. P, Q. I will not go to the football game. Q. So if it didn't go to the football game, we can conclude not P, or it is not Friday night. Now let's look at this, some practice problems. Determine if statement 3 is a valid conclusion. If it is, state which law you used. If it is not valid, write not valid. Again, we're just going to use those three laws that we just learned. Let's look at the first one. If a children's movie is playing on Saturday, we'll label that P. Janine will take her little sister Jill to the movie. Make that Q. 2 says if Janine takes her little sister Jill to the movie, that's repeating Q, then Jill will get popcorn. That's a new one, R. So for 3, if a children's movie is playing on Saturday, that's P. Jill will get popcorn is R. Does that match one of the three rules that we have? Yes. The law of syllogism. Next. Write a valid conclusion using the following two statements. If a children's movie is playing on Saturday, P. Janine will take her little sister Jill to the movie. Q. Janine takes her little sister Jill to the movie. Alright, we're repeating Q there. Now that doesn't match one of our rules, so we can't make a conclusion from that. Practice. Write a valid conclusion to statements 1 and 2 and indicate whether you use the law of detachment, the law of syllogism, or the law of the contrapositive. We're going to use logic notation to label the statements. 1. If a children's movie is playing on Saturday, Janine will take her little sister Jill to the movie. So P, Q. A children's movie is playing on Saturday. That's P. Therefore, we can conclude Q. Janine will take her little sister Jill to the movie. The law that we used there, the law of detachment. Write a valid conclusion to the following two statements. Then state which law you used. If a children's movie is playing on Saturday, P. Janine will take her little sister Jill to the movie. Q. Janine doesn't take her sister to the movie. Not Q, therefore not P. A children's movie is not playing on Saturday. This is saying that if this happens, this will definitely happen. Since that definitely didn't happen, then the first one didn't happen. That's the law of contrapositive. Alright. For closure, use symbols to write the three laws used to make valid conclusions. You can pause this and see if you remember these and restart it. And the law of detachment looks like this. If P, then Q, P, therefore Q. Law of syllogism. If P, then Q. If Q, then R. P, then R. And the law of the contrapositive is P implies Q, not Q, therefore